But foresight alone is not enough. It must be combined with the discipline of patience. Most men destroy themselves not because they lack strength, but because they lack restraint. They rush to speak when silence would have disarmed their enemy. They rush to strike when waiting would have guaranteed victory. They rush to reveal plans when concealment would have kept them untouchable. Patience, therefore, is the shield of foresight. The man who can wait, who can resist the itch to move too soon, multiplies the power of his foresight 100-fold. Do not confuse patience with weakness. To the dull mind, waiting looks like inaction. To the Machiavellian mind, waiting is the sharpening of the blade, the measuring of the strike, the building of inevitability. The spider is patient in its web. Yet when the fly lands, its movement is instant, merciless, final. So, too, must you cultivate the art of waiting not idly, but with purpose, preparing for the moment when foresight and opportunity align. Another element that amplifies foresight is deception. The man who reveals his mind is already defeated. If others know what you plan, they will counter it. If others sense what you foresee, they will guard themselves. Therefore you must wrap foresight in layers of fog, hiding truth beneath lies, cloaking intentions beneath diversions. Let them see a false plan while you act on the real one. Let them believe you are blind while you watch them clearly. Deception is not cruelty, it is protection. Just as a hunter disguises his snare, the ruler disguises his foresight. And understand this, men are not rational creatures. They are driven by vanity, greed, fear, envy. This is the greatest advantage of foresight. You can predict their actions because they are chained to their emotions. The vain man will always seek praise. Flatter him, and you can lead him where you wish. The greedy man will always chase gold. Tempt him with it, and you can trap him. The fearful man will always retreat. Threaten him, and he will collapse. You cannot control every event in life, but you can always control men because men, unlike fate, are predictable. Look also at the weakness of memory. Men forget quickly. Their loyalty fades, their gratitude dies, their fear subsides. If you rely on memory, you will be betrayed. But with foresight, you plan for forgetfulness itself. You do not expect loyalty, you design systems of dependency so that men cannot betray you even if they wish. You do not expect gratitude, you remind them of their debt until it becomes part of their identity. You do not expect fear to last, you refresh it periodically with displays of strength. Thus, foresight teaches you to design permanence in a world of constant decay. In war, foresight prevents disaster. A reckless commander marches forward without considering terrain, weather, or supply lines. His foresight is shallow, and his men pay with their lives. The Machiavellian commander, by contrast, studies not only the field before him, but the chain of consequences, where his troops will stand in a week, how hunger will gnaw at them, how rain will turn roads to mud, how morale will shift after each battle. By foreseeing further, he conquers without waste. By foreseeing deeper, he ensures victory before swords clash. The greatest generals, like Hannibal or Caesar, did not win by strength alone. They won by thinking further, by imagining possibilities invisible to their enemies. In politics, foresight creates stability. A ruler who governs only for the present will fall at the first storm. He grants too much freedom and the people grow unruly. He crushes them too harshly and rebellion brews. But the ruler with foresight balances both, granting just enough to satisfy, taking just enough to control. He plans not for today's applause, but for tomorrow's survival. He invests in loyalty where it matters, divides enemies before they unite, and prepares successors before rivals can contest power. This is how dynasties last, centuries' foresight stitched into the very fabric of rule. Even in personal life, foresight is the ultimate advantage. Most friendships end in betrayal, most loves in disappointment, most ventures in ruin, not because of malice, but because men fail to see ahead. The Machiavellian man is never surprised. He anticipates the slow death of passion, the creeping corrosion of envy, the silent growth of ambition in those around him. He does not wait for betrayal to wound him. He identifies its seed early and cuts it out. Where others are broken by disloyalty, he remains untouched, for he expected it all along. Now consider the mask. Every powerful man must wear one. Your true foresight must never be exposed. If they know how deeply you see, they will fear and isolate you. Therefore, appear simple when you are complex, appear weak when you are strong, appear unsure when you are certain. Let them think they are deceiving you even as you guide them. This mask is not hypocrisy, it is armor. Naked foresight invites suspicion. Hidden foresight ensures domination. The common man wishes to be liked. The wise man prefers to be underestimated. To be underestimated is to be invisible until it is too late. Nothing is more fatal to power than visibility before its time. Keep your foresight veiled until the moment of action, then strike with such precision that the world gasps not at your preparation, but at what they think is your luck. This illusion of luck is the cloak that hides your true weapon. But never forget, foresight requires constant sharpening. The mind grows dull without exercise. Study history, every page is a map of foresight and folly. Study men, every gesture is a clue. Study yourself, for the greatest danger to foresight is your own arrogance. The ruler who believes he sees all is already blind. You must train daily, imagining consequences, rehearsing outcomes, questioning assumptions. Only then will foresight remain sharp enough to carve destiny. And what is destiny if not foresight in disguise? The weak believe destiny controls them. The strong know destiny is written by those who can see ahead. Every empire, every throne, every fortune was once nothing but a vision in the mind of someone who saw further than his peers. You too can write destiny if you embrace this trait fully, ruthlessly, patiently. So I tell you this final truth. If you desire power, if you seek mastery, if you long to stand where others fall, you must cultivate foresight. Not as a trick, not as a habit, but as the core of your being. Make every glance, every thought, every decision part of a chain that stretches into the future. Live not as a man trapped in today, but as a ruler already shaping tomorrow. This, above all, is the trait that grants you the unfair advantage. It is not wealth, nor beauty, nor strength, nor luck. It is foresight, the invisible crown, the silent sword, the hidden empire in your mind. Possess it, and you need nothing else. Lacking it, you may possess everything, yet lose it in an instant. Remember this, sharpen it, guard it, wield it. And the world, blind and stumbling, will forever remain at your feet. But let us go even deeper, for foresight is not a single tool, it is a collection of weapons, each sharper than steel. To possess foresight is to divide time into three realms, the past, the present, and the future. The fool lives only in the present. The sentimental man clings to the past. But the Machiavellian man extracts lessons from the past, applies them in the present, and projects them into the future. In this way, he uses all of time as his servant. The past is a graveyard filled with bones of men who lacked foresight. Study them. Every fallen empire, every failed ruler, every ruined fortune carries within it the same lesson: blindness. The king who trusted too easily. The general who underestimated his enemy. The merchant who ignored warning signs of collapse. These are not accidents, they are consequences. By studying their corpses, you arm yourself against their mistakes. Why stumble into the same traps when their footprints already mark the path? The present is the battlefield where foresight is tested. Most men drown in it, distracted by noise, consumed by trivialities. They confuse activity with progress, noise with significance. But the Machiavellian man sees through the fog of the present. He asks, what in this moment will matter 5 years from now? What is mere distraction, and what is the seed of future power? By filtering the present through the lens of foresight, he conserves energy, striking only where it matters, ignoring what others waste themselves upon. And then there is the future, the true prize of foresight. It is not yet written, but it is not entirely uncertain. It bends to those who plan carefully, act decisively, and adapt swiftly. You cannot control every storm, but you can build ships before the clouds appear. You cannot dictate every rival's move, but you can prepare traps so that whatever they choose leads them to defeat. The future belongs not to those who wait, but to those who foresee. Consider also the power of silence. The man of foresight speaks little, for he knows words reveal more than silence ever can. The more you speak, the more you expose your mind. The less you speak, the more others expose theirs. In silence you observe, in silence you calculate. In silence you allow your rivals to entangle themselves in their own foolishness. And when you finally speak, your words carry the weight of inevitability, for you have seen further than they ever could. There is also the matter of reputation. A man of foresight crafts not only his plans but also the image others see. He knows perception is power. If they believe you are wise, they treat your words as prophecy. If they believe you are ruthless, they hesitate to cross you. If they believe you are fortunate, they envy you, but secretly admire you. Reputation is foresight weaponized. It shapes the choices of others before they even confront you. A feared name is often stronger than a drawn sword. And yet, the cruelest truth of foresight is this: it will isolate you. Few will understand your calculations. Few will see what you see. You will walk among men, but think beyond them. They will call you cold, heartless, even inhuman. Let them. Power is not won by being understood. It is won by being obeyed. Accept solitude as the price of foresight. Better to walk alone in clarity than to stumble together in blindness. Still, you must never reveal the full extent of your vision. Even the most loyal ally must not know how far ahead you think. Share only fragments, never the whole. Give men the illusion that they understand you while you remain a mystery. Mystery breeds awe, and awe breeds obedience. The unseen is always more powerful than the seen. Above all, remember this principle: foresight without action is wasted. To see the path but not walk it is cowardice. Many men dream of futures yet remain chained to hesitation. The Machiavellian man is different. He sees, he waits, he acts, and when he acts with precision, as though destiny itself bends to his will. So sharpen this trait until it defines you. Think beyond the crowd, beyond the day, beyond the hour. Imagine years as others imagine moments. Shape outcomes before they exist. Then, when others wonder why you always rise, why you never fall, you may smile behind your mask. They will say you are lucky, they will say you are chosen. But you will know the truth: you are neither. You simply saw what they refused to see. And in this, you will always hold the only advantage that truly matters and unfair. The world does not reward the righteous. It rewards the shrewd. It does not honor the generous. It bows before the calculating. If you wish to rise above others, if you wish to command while others obey, you must possess one trait that gives you an unfair advantage, a trait invisible to the untrained but decisive in every struggle. Foresight, the ability to see further, to anticipate, to calculate where others drift blind. This is the hidden crown upon the head of the cunning, the weapon that ensures you win long before the battle begins. Most men live moment to moment, slaves of habit, chained to emotion. They eat, they sleep, they gossip, they chase fleeting pleasures. But the one who possesses foresight, the one who trains his mind to pierce the veil of the present, becomes more than a man. He becomes a strategist, a master of the chessboard of life. He does not wait for fate to act. He bends fate to his design. The masses believe in luck. They attribute victory to chance, failure to misfortune. But the Machiavellian mind knows that fortune is only the name fools give to the consequences of their blindness. What they call luck is simply foresight in action, anticipation disguised as coincidence. The prince who survives assassination is not lucky. He foresaw the envy of rivals and removed their daggers before they could be drawn. The merchant who grows rich is not blessed. He studied the tides of trade while others squandered in distraction. The general who wins wars is not favored by the gods. He simply anticipated the terrain, the morale, the weaknesses of his enemy. Those who lack foresight worship fortune. Those who possess foresight control it. Foresight is not magic, it is a discipline. It begins with observation. Most people look but do not see. Their eyes register images, but their mind remains dull. The Machiavellian mind sharpens itself through constant observation. Every gesture, every hesitation, every word of another person becomes a clue. A careless glance reveals insecurity, a tone of voice betrays fear. A contradiction between words and actions exposes hidden motives. To most, these signs are invisible. To the one with foresight, they are arrows pointing to inevitable outcomes. He reads men like an open book while they imagine themselves opaque. But foresight is more than observation, it is prediction. It is the art of playing out consequences before they occur. Imagine every choice as a stone thrown into water. The common man sees only the splash. The Machiavellian sees the ripples, the widening circles that strike the shore minutes later. He does not ask, what happens now? He asks, what happens after? And what happens when that leads to this? This is why he remains calm when others panic, why he seizes opportunity while others hesitate. He has already walked the path in his mind. When he takes it in reality, it feels inevitable. Consider the ruler who listens not only to what his advisors say, but what they conceal. He detects ambition in a smile, betrayal in excessive flattery, disloyalty in hesitation. Long before rebellion arises, he has already planted seeds of division among his rivals, ensuring they never unite against him. He anticipates treachery, so it never has the chance to wound him. This is foresight killing danger before it breathes. Most people fail because they act in reaction. They are like soldiers who wait for the enemy's strike before lifting their shield. But the master of foresight acts before the blow comes. He positions himself so that the strike never reaches him, or better still, so that his enemy strikes and falls into a trap. Victory is not won in the clash. It is won in the preparation, in the invisible calculations before steel meets steel. Do not mistake foresight for mere intelligence. Many clever men are ruined because they lack the coldness to use what they know. Intelligence without foresight is like a sharp sword in the hands of a coward. It cuts nothing. Foresight requires courage, patience, and ruthlessness. To see the path is one thing. To walk it despite the cries of others is another. The crowd mocks what it does not understand, envies what it cannot possess, fears what it cannot control. But the Machiavellian man does not yield to their noise. He stays the course, for he knows that foresight makes him untouchable in the end. History belongs to those who mastered foresight. Caesar crossed the Rubicon not because he was reckless, but because he foresaw that hesitation meant his enemies would destroy him. He understood that fortune favors the bold only when boldness is backed by preparation. Napoleon rose because he studied maps, weather, supply chains, details others dismissed. His foresight made armies dance to his will. Yet even he fell when his foresight failed, when arrogance blinded him to the Russian winter. This proves the second truth. Foresight must be constant. The moment you stop anticipating, you invite ruin. How do you sharpen foresight? First, learn to step outside yourself. See not with your own desires, but through the eyes of others. Ask always, what does this man want? What does he fear? What hidden chain of motives binds his actions? People are predictable when you strip away their masks. They chase pleasure, avoid pain, seek power, fear loss. Their speeches may be noble, but their hearts are selfish. Once you learn this, you can anticipate their moves as easily as predicting that a starving man will reach for food. Second, cultivate detachment. Emotion clouds foresight. Anger blinds, love weakens, fear paralyzes. The Machiavellian ruler must master his emotions, not extinguish them, but wield them as tools while remaining untouched within. When others rage, he studies. When others weep, he calculates. When others celebrate, he prepares. This cold detachment grants him the clarity to foresee what others cannot bear to consider. Third, surround yourself with information. Foresight thrives on knowledge. Know the habits of your rivals, the currents of trade, the shifts of politics, the moods of the people. He who sees more can predict more. But be wary, too much information confuses the weak mind. The trick is not to know everything, but to know what matters. The wise prince filters noise from signal, discarding gossip, clinging only to the patterns that reveal the future. Fourth, rehearse the future in your mind. Every night, play out tomorrow's battles before they occur. Imagine not only your own moves, but the moves of your rivals. Anticipate betrayal, disaster, misfortune. Then craft responses in advance. When crisis comes, you will appear unshaken, not because you are lucky, but because you rehearse the moment 100 times in silence. The world will call it composure. You will know it is foresight. Understand this, the unfair advantage foresight provides is not obvious to the crowd. They will think you fortunate, blessed, favored by destiny. Let them believe this. Conceal your calculations, hide the effort behind a mask of ease. The greatest power is to appear ordinary while being extraordinary. If they knew how far ahead you think, they would fear you. If they think you are simply lucky, they will underestimate you, and that is the sweetest advantage of all. Beware of overconfidence. Foresight can tempt you into arrogance, into believing you are infallible. But even the sharpest mind cannot predict every variable. Fate always reserves a dagger for the careless. Thus, combine foresight with adaptability. Plan every move, but be ready to abandon the plan when reality shifts. Rigidity kills kings. Flexibility saves them. The oak breaks in the storm, the reed bends and survives. In personal dealings, foresight allows you to control relationships. While others enter blindly into friendships, alliances, or love, you calculate their long-term cost and benefit. You do not ask, "Do I like this person?" But, "Where will this person lead me in 5 years?" If the answer is ruin, you cut ties without hesitation. If the answer is power, you nurture the bond. In this way, every connection becomes a stepping stone, never a chain. In conflict, foresight ensures you never fight on equal terms. Only the fool meets his enemy on level ground. The Machiavellian waits, manipulates, prepares, until the enemy is weak, isolated, distracted. Then he strikes with certainty. He does not gamble, he engineers inevitability. Others call it unfair, he calls it survival. In war, in politics, in business, in love, victory belongs not to the strongest, but to the one who foresaw the battlefield before the battle began. So remember this truth: the world is blind, but you must see. The world stumbles in the present, but you must walk in the future. The world reacts, but you must anticipate. Possess this trait, and you will always have an unfair advantage. You will not merely compete, you will dominate. You will not merely survive, you will reign. For while others drown in the waves of chance, you will ride them as a master rides his steed, directing them wherever you wish. That is the essence of Machiavellian foresight. It is the crown jewel of power, the silent weapon of rulers, the trait that gives you an advantage so unfair it appears supernatural.